Hello and welcome to this episode of Let's Meet the Characters of the Windswift. Well, last and not least to get his own video is the indomitable Michael Kesevan, who plays Mootaru, the Warlock, warrior, yak folk champion of the people. There you go. And so Michael, you're joining us here today. Tell us, who is Mootaru? Describe Mootaru.
Well, in my mind, Mootaru has always been the quintessential Adonis-type character. Because obviously being a warlock, charisma, very important, being able to be, cast spells and stuff like that. But I always took it as more of his charm and his demeanor. So for me, the idea of making Mootaru a bardic character came with all the bells and whistles. So Mootaru studies an art form known as Kabuki. Not to be mistaken with kabuki, which is some weird other fantasy world's version of the art form. So Mootaru actually is quite large in stature, but also wears very large draping attire, which has big shoulder pads, lots of bells, and lots of tassels, and it basically runs all the way to the ground. Where he would normally have his big, thick, lush mane, because of course, as some of you know, Mootaru is in fact a Chung, which is a very large cow or bull-like creature. He actually wears this massive wig that also runs down pretty much to the back of his knees, that is bright blue. With sort of like peacock blue with like the peacock greens also running through it. No symbolism there. In addition, he also wears the traditional warrior face paint of the Kabuki people, which is, of course, a brilliant white with varying tribal kind of spirals and tattoos that kind of give him kind of a rather imposing vision, as you would see. He carries very little on his person that one could see apart from, obviously, the parade costume-like thing that he wears, except for, of course, his infamous naginata. Now, his naginata is a very, very long, full-length naginata with a jade green handle that runs the full length, and a blade that is emblazoned with the symbol of his heraldry, that of a Chinese forest dragon.
Lovely. All right, so quite a descriptive thing. Now, tell us, this Kabuki performing warlock naginata wielding character, take us inside his head. What is his goal? Yeah.
Mootaru is a very simple individual, and for him, his life basically shaped him to be not a very selfish individual. He doesn't want anything for himself. He doesn't have any grandiose idea of where the world should be or politics, or he doesn't really work like that. Mootaru, for him, and his motive is very simple: be good, and the people around you, look after them. And those are the only two things that he has always kind of driven himself towards. I suppose if there were a goal per se, the only thing he has is to honor himself and honor his family. But this is kind of like more of the Chung value. The Chung Dai, or the Ushikunsu, as his particular species of Chung are very much honor-bound and very much about appeasing the ancestors that came before and making sure that one lives up to their expectations. Mootaru's clan were protectors, warriors, and very strong-willed people. But obviously with the Chung, being, for the most part, being mercenaries, people who get hired out to places, there was no honor in that. And so his family took on the mantle of being performers who described about the ancient times that the Chung lived glorious battle. And in a way, Mootaru kind of seeks to continue that tradition and live in the moment of trying to, impress his ancestors.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now tell me, why did Mootaru join the Order of the Histari in order to prevent the return of the great dragon lords to the realm of Braxia?
Yes. Well, that one's actually a very interesting question. Mootaru, at the beginning of his life, obviously was taught in the ways of Kabuki, which is both an art form and a warrior fighting style. He took his art, and instead of taking it to the stage where his brothers, his sisters, and his family were very, very familiar and reasonably well known, he wanted to put it into practical use. And obviously, with no great standing war going on, Mootaru turned to the gladiatorial arena, and that is where he devoted his life to battling with his his great-great-great-grandfather's Naginata. Basically, the way the Naginata works is every member of his family placed a piece of their mane into the hilt of this Naginata, and by wielding the blade, he wields the power of his ancestors and the power of his whole family. And so he couldn't stand the idea of taking this onto the stage and or leaving it on a shelf. So that's why he went to the gladiatorial arena to earn his place among his ancestors. But soon his vanity, his pride, his very, very selfish nature started to show a very toxic side of Mootaru. He became brash, bold, reckless, and it wasn't until he found the emptiness inside of himself that he found Roan. Roan, of course, is the god of destiny, or at least not fated destiny, but to discover one's destiny chaotically throughout, your experiences in life, and he, through various omens and literally, I feel like Roan beating him over the head with a stick, literally and figuratively. He turned his attention to something greater than himself, and turned his attention to becoming a notable captain of the Histari, in hopes that his battle prowess, his skills, and his power will be able to fight up against something worthwhile.
Absolutely fantastic. And if you want to know more about Mootaru and his exploits and his family Naginata and his attempts to no longer be brash or bold or charge into the middle of battle, that's clearly a journey that's going to take him a long time to overcome. Join us every week as we release on Mondays the Adventures of the Windswift here on this channel, and you can watch Mootaru along with Blackston and Graham and Con as they try to take on the world and save the day every day. Just like regular folk, really. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching and happy playing.